So Christine, we're here today because both of us ran the same BDC at different times over, what, a decade?
A decade. Thanks
Yeah.
for dating us. We're very old.
Yeah, we're not that old, but yeah. So I got the BDC at Checkered Flag fired up back in 2006, and you ran it after my time there, and so we had the same people and the same managers and all that good stuff. And I thought it was interesting that we're both now vendors, and can reflect a little bit on what it was like to run those BDCs and where the hardships were, especially now that we have a BDC offering that can take a lot of those hardships away and make lives easier, lives better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you mention hardships of BDC experience, two come to mind, but the very first and the one that I never found a workaround for was the burnout. The way that the team, they would do their best and they would show up and they'd be energetic and happy and they want to do a great job. We had a great pay plan. They had the motivation, at least initially, and the grind and monotony of taking internet leads and then discovering that it was a bad lead or it didn't include a real phone number. They were calling the weather channel. And so that's fine. Next one, and they send emails and they get no reply and they get no phone calls back. And over time, if you feel like you're failing, even though you're doing what you're supposed to do, it can really, really psychologically make you stop caring. Like, no matter what I do, I can't get these leads to respond to me. I can't get them to answer me. And we had some churn. We had people that, without tools to answer the questions that customers had implied and otherwise, they would burn out of the job. They would just leave.
And how easy was it to find people to replace them? You don't have to answer that. That was a good answer right there. I think we all know how hard it is to find good people.
Well, ironically, it's been several years since I left the BDC, and I've been working with dealers across the entire country. And the story is the same. I hear it over and over and over again. I just wish I had one rock star BDC person who could do the amount of calls I need them to do and do the internet follow-up I need them to do. But there's no line waiting outside my door of people that are qualified to do that. And even the ones that I have that are qualified, they feel disheartened because they don't have what they need. And a point that you and I talked about earlier, it gets worse when there's a sales manager or a team of sales managers who might be a little more old school. They might hold the pricing and payment information close to the vest. And when you're in the tug of war between the customer who wants information and the sales managers who want you to just get them in the door, that's a rough spot to be in every single day. And you start to feel like you're letting people down. Just get them in the door. I'm trying. I'm sorry. I can't get them in the door. Can I get some payment information? It gets very, very rough on your psyche. Not a hard job. Sounds like a great job when you first sit down to do it. Like, oh, you're going to pay me money to call customers and I get paid more money when they buy a car and someone else is going to take care of them. Great. But it's a grind. It really is. And we have a better way.
So trying to get our team to be consistent and always smiling and dialing and always responding to every lead, regardless of what they might thought of that lead provider.
Profiling. I'm not even going to take a lead from that lead source. If you get burned enough times, you just throw out the whole batch. Or a whole store. Maybe there's a lead provider at, say, the Kia store or the Honda store or the Jag store, and you have enough in a row that you can't reach the customer. I'm not going to take Honda leads or Jag leads or whatever it might be, whatever that lead source is that you got burned by, you stop caring.
Yeah, I don't care that you're spending $5,000 a month to get these leads. They haven't been good for me, so I'm gonna.
Right. We would fight. We would have fights. You are doing that store today. I'm not doing that store today. I did that store yesterday and I got no appointments. Or I'm not taking those leads. Nope. I'll tell the manager I'm not taking those leads. You get very indignant because even when you're trying and doing your best and placing the calls, Um, there's a better way to do it, is the whole point of what we're saying. There's a better way to do it. We've been working together, you and I and our team, to make it easier.
For everybody. For everybody.
For everybody, for the sales manager to not be so bothered, for the BDC person to not be stuck in the middle, for the customer to feel a little bit in control of the, the conversation, letting them know that there's people on the other end that want to help them at the store.
Yeah.
Not just get them in, not just sell them and close them and cram them into a car, but actually help them decide the best way to purchase the car.
Yeah, so we have two products, a LumaQuote, which helps to deliver that price and reveal the customer's motivations back to you. You'll know if there's actually a customer on the other end of that lead. And then RESPONSEiQ, which is a BDC in itself. And you can use it in multiple ways. You can use it as a whole BDC if you don't have one now, or you can use it as a complement to your current BDC if you've got a really great one. Like Christine and I had. And they can do all the initial heavy lifting of dialing to figure out whether there's a person on the other end, and then pick up the ball and get the appointment.
Man, I can't even imagine the feeling of knowing that by the time the lead got to me, they had been somewhat vetted. Yes, this is a real person and they are interested in buying a car. Like, that's enough. They can also come to me now saying, yes, this is a real person. They do want to buy the car. They want $450 per month with $1,000 down. Here's their trade information. I mean, that's just cherry on top of the sundae. But just the idea that we know this person is real, they exist, and they are in market, and they would like you to contact them. Hello. I'm not going to get burnt out of that ever. That gives me an adrenaline rush just thinking about real live leads hand fed to me versus digging through and scraping out the good from the bad. I'm obviously excited about it. I quit. I'm going back to the dealership. Calling the bosses.
So call Christine, pick your flavor. Do you need a BDC? Are you thinking about creating one, or do you already have a BDC and you want to help them out some more? We can help them both ways.
Talk to you soon.